What's happening, guys? Gary Yaman here, back at it again with a new video. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe and healthy. Let's begin right away with this video. This right here is the Sony A6000, and this was released way back, guys, in 2014, making this already a 7-year-old camera. In 2014, we got a lot of things going on. We got the iPhone 6 that came out in 2014. Kim and Kanye got married in 2014. And you know how that all went, right? So now Kim and Kanye are divorced. The iPhone 6, you cannot buy that phone like brand new in stores these days. You can buy them refurbished. Honestly, I do not know why people should buy those things refurbished. And we all know that the Sony A6000 is still brand new available in camera stores and in many electronic stores. Even here in the Netherlands, you can still buy the A6000s for roughly around 350, 450 euros. And actually it is really weird, right, that you can still buy a electronic device from 2014 even now, right now in 2021. And I think that says a whole lot about this camera. But we're not going to talk about 2014, we're going to talk about 2021 and if this camera is still very relevant, yes or no. So let's begin right away with some specs and get all the boring stuff out of the way. This right here, this camera has an APS-C CMOS sensor, 24.3 megapixels, one SD card slot at the bottom, 179 focus points, 11 frames per second for stills, 1080p video up to 60 frames per second. It has a built-in flash, a rangefinder style camera, no touchscreen LCD, and it just tilts up and down. 1.44 million dots OLED electronic viewfinder, and this thing weighs just 344 grams. So with the boring stuff out of the way, we can talk about the more interesting stuff, the more juicy part, right? And I've got 6 reasons why you should buy this camera in 2021. The first reason is the image quality. The image quality coming out of this camera is still really good, and I even use it for professional stuff. As you see here in the following shots, you can definitely tell that this camera is really up to it, and you can do a variety of things. Like, you can literally do anything with this camera. You can do portraits, weddings, landscape, astrophotography, all kind of stuff. And I mainly use it for, like these days, I'm only using it for traveling and vacation because it's just a very small and reliable camera for me to use. And I know everything about it, how to take the pictures and what is the best settings and stuff like that. So it really suits my needs. But image quality wise, this is really a great camera. I don't have any like negative things about the image quality really. And as you see here, a side-by-side comparison next to a newer camera such as the Sony A7 III, and as you see here, the images are looking very similar, and I bet you cannot tell which one is the Sony A7 III or which one is the Sony A6000. So the answers will be coming in the end of the video. Which one is the Sony A6000 and which one is the Sony A7 III? Can you tell it by looking at it? I don't think so. I cannot really tell which one is the Sony A7 III or which one is the Sony A6000. So the image quality coming out of this camera is really amazing, really impressive. And the second reason why you should buy this camera is the famous Sony autofocus. The autofocus is such on a high level that even today's camera, such as the one of the last cameras that I reviewed was the Nikon Z5 or the Z5. Even that camera has still some autofocus issues. Sometimes it just cannot see the obvious thing that it needs to focus on. It just doesn't see it somehow. I think it's a firmware upgrade that needs to be done in order to solve that problem. With this thing coming out in 2014, already has great autofocus straight out of the box, and even now with some extra firmware upgrades or updates, the autofocus is really amazing and very reliable. I can easily use it for many professional things. It also has eye autofocus, but only in single shot. So for single point autofocus, it does have eye autofocus, but honestly, I don't ever use that. I just put it on continuous autofocus and it works really well. It's very reliable. The same goes for the video. As you see right here, it just focuses on the face without no issue, and I think that is really cool, really impressive coming from a 2014 camera. So really good autofocus. Let's continue on to the third reason, and that is that this camera is very affordable. Even brand new, you can buy it for around 400 euros, 400 bucks. But I think in the second-hand market or the gray market or even refurbished, you can buy this camera for under the 300 mark, right? The 300 euros or 300 US dollars. And I've seen that there are many people out there that are selling this camera because they are going to upgrade or don't even need it anymore. So you can just buy this camera for around 250 euros, 250 US dollars, and that is a great value for this piece of hardware. You get great image quality and great autofocus for just 250 US dollars, and that is a really affordable camera that you can do really good images with this. Secondhand or brand new, still a very affordable camera. The fourth reason is the lens options. So this has the Sony E mount, right? So you do have many lens options. I do have to admit that the APS-C lens options are not as huge as with the full frame lenses, but still you can use also full frame lenses on a Sony APS-C body. That's what I do constantly. I've used like full frame lenses for the following shots, and it looks really good, right? It performs also really well. I don't have any issues with it, but do keep in mind when you buy a full frame lens, the lens itself is usually bigger than the body, so you will have a weird balancing act with the camera and the lens itself. So keep that in mind, but still you got many lens options, and also you got many adapters, so you can use even other brands if needed. The fifth reason that I want to discuss and why you should buy this is that this body itself, the body itself, right, is very robust and also very reliable. I've used it on many trips. Like I went to Indonesia, went to Turkey, went on a boat, I went to all those things, went to Switzerland. I don't know where I went with this camera. Many countries, many trips, and this is still very reliable. It's still working really well. Don't have any issues with it. It does get wet sometimes and it works perfectly fine, but other than that, it is just a very reliable camera. So the body itself, how it works, really good. The battery, by the way, is not the best battery in the world. I do recommend buying at least 2 of these and bringing with you 2 of these when you want to do a full day of photography. So at least 2 batteries is needed, but other than that, you know, if you take a bunch of photos, it will last for the whole day. And also the little flash, it is very helpful in darker situations. If you got, let's say, a darker room, and you can just tilt the flash a little bit upwards like this, and you can bounce off that flash from the ceiling, and you will get amazing results, such as here. This was on a party, and as you see, it was actually quite a nice party, and I had this camera with me, took some shots, and the shots are looking really good, right? So the build quality coming out of this and the flash itself, really nice. The sixth and final reason why you should buy this camera, even now in 2021, is that this camera has many like functionalities, many purposes. So just as a camera itself, like a photography camera, you can use it for pretty much anything, but you can also use this as a webcam, for instance. Many people are using this for streaming and just like webcam conference calls and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons, but also the accessories. You got many accessories. You can just build out this camera. I used to have a battery grip, so then I always had 2 batteries inside of it. Worked really well. I think I also made a video about it. I'm not sure anymore, but it does have many accessories. It even has like a microphone that you can buy for it and put it on the hot shoe mount. And there's also a extra like benefit, and that is that it has a great community. The Sony A6000 community, you can check on Facebook, for instance, and there is a whole community that only uses the Sony A6000, and you can just check that out and be amazed and impressed with all the things that people can do, right? So for photo and video, I'm really amazed, especially for video, because this is not a video-centric camera. Many people are actually using this as a video filmmaking device. But of course, there are also some things why you shouldn't buy this camera. There are some negative things about it, but the negative things are just like very minor, and one of those is, as I mentioned, the video capabilities of this camera. If you want to do 4K video, this cannot do it. Of course, you can just record in 1080p and export it in a 4K timeline, right, or the 4K file. Looks really good, by the way, but not as good as a native 4K filming device, right? So sometimes even an iPhone 12 Pro Max does have better filming capabilities than this one, but just keep in mind that the video capabilities are a little bit limited, so you cannot do 4K. You don't have any flat profiles, you don't have any like microphone inputs whatsoever to like have an external microphone and stuff like that. So for video, I don't really recommend this, but still it is very possible. But if you are very video centric, then I would suggest buy a newer one, or the Sony A6300. But I guess the Sony A6400 will be like the best bang for your buck in terms of photo and video, all things combined. For photography, there are also some negative points. As I mentioned in the autofocus part, this does not have eye autofocus in continuous mode. It only has eye autofocus in single point or single shot mode, right? And also it lacks some extra features such as the time-lapse features, what you do have on the newer cameras. So that is something that I wish this one had. Also the body itself, you should look at the body. The screen just tilts like this. It doesn't tilt all the way up or on the side. I wish it has that kind of option. And other than that, the screen itself is actually really low. It has a low resolution. It's not the sharpest thing in the world, and it doesn't have any touchscreen capabilities whatsoever. So that is a little bit of a downside when it comes down to the Sony A6000. But even with those limitations, I still think that this device, even though it has been announced by Sony that they are going to discontinue this device, so they will stop producing this Sony A6000, even with those things, with the limitations being discontinued, I think this is still worth buying in 2021. And you can also still buy it in many electronic stores, camera stores, and I do think that that really says a lot, right? Just imagine buying a brand new iPhone 6 in the Apple Store, and I think nobody would actually buy that, but many people are still buying this. Maybe not as much as it was used to because of the many like newer versions, stuff like that, but still, if you are looking for a beginner's camera for a affordable price, then the Sony A6000 is really worth getting, and I think you can really learn photography and have fun with it with this camera. I think that's it for this video. I think I've mentioned all the things that need to be mentioned. If I forgot anything, if you want to know anything about the Sony A6000, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you got it, if you own it for many years, let me know as well. If you're happy with it, then people will also know that many people are still happy with the Sony A6000, right? And I do believe that this is one of the best cameras out there right now, even in 2021. So yeah, that's all. Thank you again for watching. Subscribe to the channel if not already, like the video, comment down below, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As always, stay safe and stay healthy. Alright, in case you're wondering if it's possible to vlog with this camera, then yes, it is possible to vlog with this camera. The microphone is quite decent, and the image, how it looks, let me know. I have it now on a gimbal, so it is stabilized, and that's why it looks so smooth. I want to go outside, but it's now quite raining quite hard, and you can also check out how everything is looking. So yes, it is possible to vlog, but you know, it's okay, it's decent. You better use a gimbal, because this camera does not have any image stabilization or built-in stabilization, right? So that's it. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.